Welcome back, everybody. My name's Tom, and you're listening to the More Heroes podcast. So today, I have a guest, and his name is Sam Putney. He's from the Game House. He's a beat writer. He's got very cool opinions. I really liked the guy, got to know him pretty good over this next hour and 10 minutes or so. He's got a lot of cool opinions on the scene. Can't wait to have him on again. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Please ignore the lack of an intro. We were kind of just talking and then hit the record button. He is a really good guy, so give him a follow. His social media and stuff's at the end. Check him out and enjoy the episode. A little bit of housekeeping, I guess, before we get out of the way. I got tremendous feedback on Twitter for my next episode, actually, which is IO Stucks. He's coming on, and I have a thread out right now that I need questions from the community for him. I've quite a few, but I'd like a little bit more, so either go to my Twitter or I have a Reddit post. I guess go to the Twitter because it's on the Twitter, and then ask him a question because he's going to give us some answers coming up. It should be out before stage 1 begins, so we'll get into contenders and all of that kind of stuff. But anyway, who I have here with me today, his name is Sam.
Yep.
He's the beat writer. And if you want to tell us a little bit more about yourself, because really we kind of just hopped in this to start recording, but I kind of wanted to know a little bit more, I guess. Like, when did you start writing for the Game House?
So I started writing for the Game House honestly like a month ago, but I had been writing like on my own, putting my stuff on Medium for almost the entirety of season 1. So that was how I got started, and then I applied for writing at the Game House. So that was how I got that, and I've been a fan of professional Overwatch since the Atlantic Showdown in 2016. So that was
okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I've been watching since right after beta. And I actually managed a tier 3 team, I guess, or it was tier 2 back when that was a thing, I guess, before Overwatch League and Contenders. I get loosely tier 2, I would say, but that's how I know IO Stucks, actually.
Oh, okay.
The coach for that team. I was the manager, so I just did like really nothing. It was just friends, I guess. I guess we got signed by some shitty org, but told that story, I think, in the last podcast. But basically, so I know you're a writer and everything, and you analyze the games, but do you ever look to like any specific coaches or like VOD reviewers on YouTube or anything to like help you with your analysis in your articles as well, or do you just watch the games?
I talk to a couple of people, but for the most part, I just watch and watch and watch, as you said, and try and I've been watching for a while, and I've tried to pick up on what's meta and where everything's going and what dictates a fight win and stuff like that. And if you do it enough, like you get decent enough at it, so that I still have to go back and watch games. Like when I first started writing, I would go back and watch fights, 3-4 times, figure out what was going on, and I still have to do that a lot. But like it becomes, you get better at it as it goes on. It just takes practice because it's a visually complicated game. So like,
oh yeah, for sure. I couldn't even follow it when I first started watching, really. Or I remember my first time playing, it was McCree right flash and right click. I couldn't even aim in the game. It was so different than most games. So, and I know what you're saying, and it's really hard to analyze. Have you ever gotten into like analyst work at all for teams? Or just
I've looked into it, but writing for one thing, real life, I don't have enough time to do a full-time analyst gig, but like,
gotcha.
I really like writing, so it just kind of worked for me because it's a hobby of mine anyway, and I like Overwatch and I like writing, so it's
that's super cool.
Match made in heaven, so to speak.
I like talking about Overwatch. I don't have the patience to write anything, but I can talk for hours. And the thing with me is I really didn't have anybody that I knew that was hugely into Overwatch League. They're mainly League of Legends people, and thought Overwatch dead game lol, type people. But I got into it really big, especially being a manager and then knowing some of the names that have come up now, and they're like in the Overwatch League. Like Muma, I've got on Snap, and I've snapped him back and forth. He's a really nice guy. He played TF2 with a lot of our players, so that's how I met him. He's a good guy. Yeah, there's, and then I know Stux just because we spent hundreds of hours together watching scrims. So I mean, he's a good guy, and he helped me a lot understand the game on a deeper level. I think I was just mindlessly playing before I started in like competitive scene, probably, but it's opened my eyes a lot. And then of course I follow every Reddit post ever that's out.
Yeah,
so.
I love Reddit.
Oh yeah, I learn a lot of things there, and a lot of it's just like baseless rumors sometimes that I think are funny, and I'll discuss like on this kind of shit. Like it's really fun.
Reddit was honestly first place I even knew that there was a competitive scene at all. I think I stumbled upon way back when I stumbled upon a usage chart that was, before the massive Zen buffs that happened, like way back when in 2016.
Oh, really?
And it was
when
like
he was 200 health or whatever.
Yeah. Back when he had 100 and 150 health, and there was a Reddit post that was like, Zen was the only character not picked at all in such and such tournament. And I was like, I didn't even know there was a tournament scene.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what I did right away when I got the game the day of release, I went on LFT, and I found a team, and it was just a bunch of golds, dude. We played like 6 DPS. I played Mercy. Oh, my God. I wish I could turn back time and just beat the shit out of myself, because I have a disdain. I'm very tilty when I play the game. I can't believe I had the patience to play that character when it first came out. I was kind of brain dead. Didn't have any mechanics, so.
I was a Mei main, and the only thing I knew how to do was freeze and then right click, and I didn't even use the wall. Those were the days.
Anyway, let's get into stage 1, week 1, and we already had a little bit before we started recording.
Yeah,
I disagree with you on one of the power ranking slots that that we put out. So let's kind of see here. So the first game, and we're gonna do it day by day, I guess. Which this one's the 14th. I think that's about day 14th.
Yeah.
And we have some big games. I think the first game of the season's gonna be so hype. It's Philadelphia Fusion versus London Spitfire. What are you thinking on that game?
Well, I mean, obviously, neither team changed all that much, and honestly, they didn't need to, just because obviously they were both amazing, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, there's not a whole lot to say about this one. It's a rematch of one of the best teams in the league, and then one of the better teams in the league. And I think the Fusion I think I had them at number 3 on my power rankings. Oh
yeah, that's what I had as well. So I agree with you there, but I also it's kind of like, I hate how I numbered my list. I said I shouldn't have numbered the list because you're never going to get that exactly right. And I was going to tier them out, like high tier, mid tier, mid.
Yeah.
I was going to do that, but I ended up not doing it and just went 1 through 20. But these two teams, at least London, I said if they're on, which what scares me about them is stage 1 last year, they played great, right? They won.
Yeah.
But then they fell off big time. Mm-hmm. And that kind of scares me a little bit about them. But I think after winning the first season, they're going to come out pretty strong. And I think Philly's going to be having a rough time, I think, at the beginning of stage 1. Unless the meta shifts way faster than I expect, which I don't think it does with GOATs.
I think it's going to stay GOATs.
I think Philly will struggle, and that's a hot take and a half, because I really don't have like any. I don't have any stats or anything that would show, but I think that they definitely lose this game, and I'm big into the point spreads and stuff. So when I look at esports bets, which is legal where I'm at, but I look at esports bets and I look at the spreads. So most weekly shows that I'll be doing like this, previewing the games, I'll be giving the spreads and then my money line picks of the week, obviously.
All right.
We'll be doing that. That's kind of crazy and weird. I'm not promoting any sites I do it on, but I do like looking at spreads. It's big time. Makes it really hype. But yeah, I definitely think Philly will lose that game. I
think it's going to be pretty close, but
I think it'll go 5 maps. Or
I think it'll go. I think it'll go
I can't
I
remember
think it's
if they
kind of
changed
useless
the
to
format.
predict scores maps like that because it could be a
Yeah.
4-0 hypothetically, but it could still be really close if like
That's
everything
true.
caps in OT.
That's
So
true.
like, but I think it's going to be close, but I think London has a little bit of an edge. But
Oh yeah.
I think that could honestly go either way. A little closer on it than you are.
You think? I don't know. We'll see. But the next game, 7:30, which this will be start at 8:00, 100%.
Yeah.
They never start on time, and there'll be 5-10 minute waits in between every goddamn game. So you gotta factor in
and then
times.
halftime, and then
I'll be up till like 3 a.m. watching these games. So many breaks.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm sure they've ironed out I don't think it was that bad, but especially for maybe I'm thinking contenders, they have like 5-minute wait.
Contenders scheduling is
yikes. Yeah, for sure. I think that's what I'm thinking of. But the next game's New York versus Boston. And
New York all the fucking way here.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Where did you have Boston on your power rankings? I do not think highly of them at all.
Let me look really quick. I'm pretty sure they were near the bottom for me, like 17.
I think actually I had them at 17 too. So
let's see here. Oh, let's see. And I'm trying to find it for you really quick because I can't remember. I have them at 18 actually. I have them.
Okay.
I have the Defiant above the Uprising, but we'll get to that, I guess. But New York, it's going to be an absolute massacre.
I mean, the Excelsior, obviously the Excelsior, right? Like, LW Blue, Farmer, got some of the best players in the world, blah, blah, blah. And then you look at Boston's roster, and then they're going to have, first of all, they're going to have one DPS player because Color Hex is suspended, which may not be that big of an issue if Goat sticks around, which I think it will, but it's still...
they'll at least the first game. This first game is 100% Goats, I think.
Yeah.
But we don't know. I think watch Boston bite us in the ass here because they're going to somehow come out with a suspended player and beat New York. First week, everybody's going to be hyping them the fuck up. It's going to be crazy. You're going to be writing articles about it. Oh, it's going to be realistically, if we're not in a dream world, New York's taking this easy.
I think
be a clean 4-0.
It should be pretty easy. I think Boston's tank line is pretty good, but like their DPS line is super unproven for one thing, and their support line is it's a little iffy. And then their support in Goats, if your supports are anything like below exceptional, especially in the Overwatch League, you're gonna lose, especially against the team.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's going to be...
It's not going to be good, I don't think.
We'll see. Obviously, most likely, if you're putting money on that game, by chance, you want to go New York pretty much all the way, but I wouldn't even bet on that game. It's going to be sweet. But the next game we have that day on the 14th is the Seoul Dynasty versus Los Angeles Gladiators. This could be close, I think.
I think I think Gladiators are going to win, first of all, but I think
yikes. I don't think so. I think that Decay and who's that, Roar? Or Decay?
Yeah, Decay
mainly is overrated. I think he was great. Obviously, we saw him in Korean Contenders, but I think Seoul Dynasty are going to be locked up tight, dude. They're going to be really hard to beat. I think they're going to be I can't even remember where I had them. I think I had them at 4 or 5.
Oh, wow. That's way higher than I had them.
Yeah.
Where did I have them? I had
the only question mark... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I had him at 8th, but yeah, go ahead.
I had Fisher as the question mark, but I think since he wanted to be with the Korean team the whole time, he's gonna fit just fine. And then there are other pickups that they had, I believe.
Yeah. So I think if the Dynasty are 100% like we're firing on all cylinders, like working together as a team perfectly, I think they could win that. But the problem is that if they don't, and that was a problem with the Dynasty in season 1, like every once in a while they would just fall apart because something wasn't working right, then Gladiators take it easy. Now, it all depends because obviously both of these teams went through some renovations over the offseason. But
I just think the support line now for the Dynasty looks a lot better. And then Fleta's just a monster, so you can't ever underestimate him. And then Fisher's such a good tank. I mean, it's going to be hard to beat Fisher. Fisher's one of the best tanks in the league.
Yeah.
And that's we've seen that be huge in the past. As soon as you don't have a main tank that's up to par, you're going to lose every game.
Yeah.
Your tank line. I think the tank line this year is super strong. I think they're definitely going to beat the Gladiators. I think that Decay is not worth the money that they're paying him. Not at all.
All right.
And I don't know if you have a point to argue against that. I guess you watched Korean Contenders, but this is the highest level.
He is very good, and honestly, I'm skeptical about every new player that enters the Overwatch League for Contenders because I think it's just such a big from just anything they've ever done before. Which is why that like fully new teams I tended to rank lower in my
just chemistry.
Like,
I had Gladiators at 8 or 9, I believe.
Where did I have?
Further down for sure, just because I think that Decay is not worth the money they're giving him. There's going to be a lot of pressure as well, especially for a new player to that stage.
Yeah.
We'll kind of see. I'm not thinking that he's going to be the best thing ever. Not right away, at least. Maybe when he gets comfortable, he'll get better. But he's not a Carpe caliber player, and that's how a lot of people are talking about him. So
now I will say this about the Dynasty. So Jae Hong, obviously, back in the day when it was Lunatic High, people were like, "Oh, he's the best player, like support player in the game," like all that stuff. And then he was fine in season 1, but he didn't live up to like his high expectations that he had set before him. If Jae Hong can get back to that level of play, then the Dynasty are a top 5 team, in my opinion, easily. Just because
I think
he's such
with
a
the meta right now,
such a
with the meta.
Yeah,
I think with the meta he'll be okay. He should be pretty good. Jesse's pretty good though too. That pickup.
Yeah.
He's pretty good. I think their division is overall pretty weak compared to the other one. Their Pacific division is not as strong as the Atlantic division, just because London and New York being in the Atlantic division. But
that's
I think
fair. Yeah.
Seoul Dynasty and the Shock probably, maybe Vancouver is a question mark. They have chemistry. I put them at 6, but
I don't know. I mean, yeah, they do have the chemistry, and obviously, they're runaway, so like we know what they can do. But they're still a new team, so honestly, it's anyone's guess. Like
I was just looking at the divisions, and it's just like I think Seoul takes this division.
All right.
I don't know. Now that I'm looking even further, it's hard. I question myself every time. But let's move on to the next game.
Okay.
Kind of got out of order there. I have so this is the last game of Thursday. It's the Shanghai Dragons versus the Spark. I'm not even gonna try to say the city name because I always butcher it.
Hangzhou, I think.
I
don't know.
Excuse my ignorance. I have no clue. But I've Shanghai Dragons winning that game. Even though the Spark, it's such a close. I think this will be another really close game of the day for sure. I think the Spark. I don't know a lot about them, so maybe that's why I'm not as educated on him. I know Crystal's super good. Goosh
yeah, good. I mean, he needs no introduction. Goosh he's insane. Like, he's absolute nuts. He might, if he clicks, and again, new player, he might not, standard stuff. But if he does, he will be one of the best tanks in the game, easily.
Right. Yeah, he's good, but I think I heard a rumor that their other tank here. Let me get his name pulled up.
What? No Smite?
Yeah, no Smite. He, I heard he was going to be playing. I think Gooshway I thought was just a Chinese hire, but I only read that somewhere, so I don't know if that's true. That might just be a rumor. But I heard that somewhere that I'm sure they'll play him, but we'll kind of see. And then I have the Shanghai Dragons. The reason why I'm almost like 50-50 split on this last game because Shanghai has so much pressure, I feel like, to win that first game.
Well,
it's got to be yikes. Pressure to win a game. Once they win it, I think they'll calm down. But I think it's going to be a factor for sure.
I cannot imagine
it's gotta be.
Theo right now, honestly. Like, he hasn't won a game. He's been with the team for 40 games. And like Gary and Fear is carried over, but they were not with the team originally. Dia was.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
It's just that's crazy. I can't imagine.
I would not be very PMA. I don't think I'd work well in a team environment after 40 losses straight.
Jeez,
but
well,
that's me.
I mean, they do
that's
have
why he's a pro player.
They do have a completely new roster, almost essentially. I mean, Dia, Gagri, and Fearless carried over. Everyone else is new, and
Korean.
It's a largely Korean roster now. And I think, I do think that they're a little better than the Spark, but they're still pretty much a new team, and you never know how a new team is going to mesh together, right? Like you can have,
especially with that pressure.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean,
so
we'll see.
I think it does go the way of Shanghai right now, but that game is honestly that could go either way. Like you could make an argument for both of these teams and make it pretty convincing. So
yeah, and then that's the end of, I guess, day one. And it's kind of, I don't feel like those games, there's, I guess, a couple in there that might be close, but as far as my power rankings go, or my thoughts on it, I think, like, New York easily wins. London, I still think easily wins that game. Seoul Dynasty and Gladiators might be close, and then Shanghai Spark might be close. I just don't know anything about the last two teams, really, just because they're brand new.
It's hard to, like, without, like, you know, like, watching scrims, like, having, like, videos.
I guess,
scrims.
yeah, but even then, even scrims, sometimes you don't even know if that they're like if they're playing the right like maybe they're trying something new, maybe so scrims hard to read.
Yeah, like I mean I've heard a couple rumors about such and such team sucks in scrims, or such and such team is doing really well in scrims. You're like, all right, but like what does that mean aside from they're not
I wouldn't be placing bets based on
I would not
results.
either.
Like
I honestly didn't
not
influence my power rankings at all. So
yeah, I've heard different things about everybody, but I think just based on we've seen a lot of these players now for a couple years, and we kind of know what we're gonna kind of expect. So I feel like power rankings are a little bit better, maybe a little bit more legitimized, but it's still obviously just he said, she said type stuff. So we'll see. But let's move on to Friday the 15th. We've got some pretty exciting games. I have my favorite two teams in here.
All right.
So it should be
Which
fun.
ones are those?
First game. We'll get to it. We'll get to it, and I'll tell you why. But Toronto Defiant versus Houston Outlaws is the first game of the day at 6 p.m. And I have the Outlaws winning this game.
I do too.
Fairly easily.
Honestly. Although I don't think either team is that good. So like.
No, I think they're both mid-tier. Well, Defiant I have as lower mid-tier, but I think Houston Outlaws is literally the definition of mid-tier, I think.
Yeah, that's honestly a pretty good way of putting it. They are incredibly average.
They're literally just 50-50. They'll probably play 500 this season. Maybe one stage, if they have the meta in their favor, they'll go to the stage playoffs. Maybe. There's a lot of teams now, so it's really hard to do that. We'll kind of see. I think the Outlaws definitely win that game.
Yeah, especially with, most of their players have been sticking, except for Dante. Like, they're largely a roster that knows how each other work. And Dante's a good pickup. Like, Dante is a very good player. So, like, that definitely
he's flexible.
It. So, like, I
Defiant have Neko, I think, though.
Yeah, they do have Neko.
Their support line's really strong, I think, but I think they're lacking in, like, every other department. It's just somewhat weaker than you would want.
First of all, I hate A-player teams, honestly. Like, I hate having only this, in my opinion, is just, it severely limits what a team is going to be able to pull off in the long run, because, like...
Especially with all the heroes that are in the game.
Like...
Well, when they add more heroes, I mean, you're going to want bigger roster sizes. Not everybody's going to be high tier on every player. I know they preach flexibility, but like, I think you need 10-player roster.
And you're going to have only, 2 players of one thing. And because that's just how, math works if you have 8 players. And then with Toronto, they only have 2 tanks, right? They've got Envy and Yak. I don't even know. Yak Pung. Is that how you say that?
Yeah, actually, that is.
All right, well, all right. Yeah. But that it's going to severely I think it's going to severely limit them in the long run. If they get a favorable meta and that meta somehow lasts for 4 stages, which is, 6 months or whatever, like, yeah, I guess you could make an 8-player team work, but like,
yeah, they have to be extremely
Yeah.
flexible, and I think from what we've seen, I mean, Neko and Rocky, they're both really good. Or I don't even think I'm saying Rocky. I don't think that's how you say it, but they're a good support line. And 8, I think, is in.
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head. I think 8's in there too. And then Asher, I think I don't know. I think he's not the strongest, for sure, not the strongest. But he's Korean, and watch him surprise us all. He'll be nuts. And then Stellar and Ivy. Ivy's apparently really good as well. But I definitely still think that Outlaws take that game.
I think, Outlaws take it just because they have the synergy and the flexibility. I mean, but actually, I take back on I'm going to backtrack on the flexibility thing a little bit because honestly, they did have some flexibility problems last season, and that roster hasn't changed that much.
No Tracer player, but now they have Dante.
Now they do have Dante, but he also hasn't worked with the team. And if you're Tracer player, I mean, even if you were going to play Tracer in this meta, which is situational at best, like he's still, he hasn't really worked with the team. I don't know if he'll play like at all, like in this game, because you
don't think? I think he's so he's got a good Zarya.
He does have a good Zarya, but
I think,
why not run Spree at that point?
Yeah, I guess, but he's been playing Diva as the word.
Really? I had not heard that.
Yeah, and then well, he complained about it on Twitter, I guess. He's in scrims, he's been playing Diva only. He's like, he wanted a meta where Zarya can be an off-tank again.
Yeah, Zarya is mostly played by DPS players right now, so.
Yeah, DPS players.
I mean,
and then flex DPS players.
I mean, maybe. So that's a good point. We'll see if he sees some playtime. But
I'm sure they'll find a way to work it, because he has done that in the past. I think he went in and had to play DPS on one of the games last year, but when he was playing Zarya, I can't remember what game that was, but I know that he did switch to a DPS character at some point. I think it was like Soldier or something. But let's move on from that game, I guess. We both kind of agree Houston, but we'll kind of see.
Yeah.
You never know. And then Atlanta Rhine in Florida Mayhem is the next game.
This game, in my opinion, is just going to be an absolute shit show to watch. Just because.
You think?
Okay, so first of all, I think Florida is the worst in the Overwatch. I think they are the pits, right? Like,
they're low tier. So I agree with a couple other teams, but yes.
And I don't think the Reign are very good. I
don't.
Not,
I disagree wholeheartedly. I have them at rank 7 on my power rankings. Might be psycho. Where did crazy.
I put them? I have them at 16th. So yeah, we don't agree on this one.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be a lot better than people think. I think if you just watch Defran, though I know it sounds like I'm sucking Defran. I'm a Defran slurper is what we should call it. I love Defran. He's fucking good, dude. You watch him and just how his game sense is unreal. His mechanics are obviously unreal. He's always in the right place at the right time. I think he's a huge factor for that team. And then Massa, he's really good main support. Kodak's a godsend. I mean, the German Jonak is what I've heard.
I haven't heard that.
So I think they'll win.
But he has looked very good. I will say that. Do
you know who their tank?
So their tanks are Dako, Pokpo, and Gator. And that is a very strong tank line. Like I don't.
I guess Gator 2-way contract though. Now, I think he would be really good.
So Gator could be really good. Like when Gator's on, he is one of the best main tanks. But the problem is that, and this was on full display in the Contenders finals. Like if you watch that, there would be pushes. He would be like on one push and then off the next. He was so inconsistent, and it was one of the reasons that they ended up losing the game, because when he was working well, he was amazing. Like he would work with the team, they would all push forward, and then he would just do what he was supposed to do, which is clear the space, like the best main tanks would.
Mm-hmm.
And then other times he would just charge forward without his team and like use Earth Shatter into the shield and then die, and then that would be it. So if he can,
I've seen that. I think his game planning though and his shot calling so strong that they're gonna fix that kind of stuff at an owl level. I think they fix those stupid. They fix your mindset about the game a lot more. I think where you're gonna fix those stupid mistakes. So I think by the time we come into the season, he's gonna have a lot of that under control, and he looked really good in contenders.
Yeah. I mean, overall he did. I just think, and then
sometimes,
and that inconsistency, I don't think that's gonna fly in the Overwatch League. But like, if they could get that out, and they probably will, I think it's gonna take a stage. But like,
I think him as a two-way player,
it makes a lot of sense.
Kind of weird. I know it does make sense, but I'm saying as far as playing time in like actual games and matches, I don't know if he'll be getting a lot.
Well,
just because he can only play like 2 games a stage or something.
Yeah,
like
and
that,
Dako and Pokpo, that is a fucking great tank line, honestly. Like, that's amazing. That is the strong part of the team, I think. But
I think it's three Koreans and 3 Westerners, if I remember correctly. And I know they have I guess a Russian guy.
Lar.
And Lair,
I don't even know how to say that, but like,
he's really good.
I think he's pretty good. I don't know if I'd go really, but he's pretty good. And then you got
the tunnel visions. I've heard.
I have like, if you watch him, you can sort of see that he does tunnel vision a little bit. Okay, so I will say that Atlanta has the potential to be really good, but this is I would describe this team as raw. Like, I
think they've got.
That's not the tank line. I think the tank line is very solid, but the rest of the, and I think Kodak was really good too. But the rest of the, I think they're gonna look like shit for one state, and that's
okay.
And then
we'll see. I think that I think Florida's so bad. That Atlanta wins this game
easily, and Florida is disgustingly bad in my opinion. But like,
that coaching situation is disgusting. I think they kicked Ryder or whatever.
Yeah, and then
just promoted their contenders coach. Was that
promise? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that move, and their roster. We'll see.
Yeah,
I don't
they did
think it's
just promote their contenders
looking too good.
So.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to look too good. They will definitely be one of the worst.
Yeah, teams. I mean, they got, first of all, like, I didn't understand their offseason strategy at all. Like, like, what the fuck? Like, what were they doing?
Just a mismanaged mess.
Like they dumped Logics for some reason. Like, and I cannot think of a reason why you would do that unless he was for like money. Like, that's literally the only reason I can see.
If that guy's not picked up mid-season, I'll lose my mind. I don't know what I'll do, but it's not going to be. It's not going to be. Pretty.
And then like they got a bunch of sort of mishmash of contenders players and subs from season 1. Is just like, it's such a strange roster, and I don't think it's, first of all, that coaching situation is not going to help matters, and that just looks so. I just don't think it's going to work well together. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you overall. I think the coaching, like I said, is going to be rough. And I guarantee they lose that first game. I'd put money on it. But let's go on to the next game, because actually this next game I know will take us a while to get through because we disagree wholeheartedly. But it's Dallas Fuel versus San Francisco Shock, and that's the 9 o'clock game for the 15th. And I picked Dallas Fuel.
I picked the Shock, so yeah, I think. So okay, what do you think about it first? Let you go first here.
Okay, so I mean, I can see why you picked the Shock. I've heard that they're playing like the mixed roster, like Western and Koreans, and they have like a full lineup of Koreans. So I thought that was kind of weird, but overall, I think Krusty's a good coach. I mean, they have so many. I don't know why they have 5 DPS players or whatever it is, like striker, Sinatra.
I do agree. It's a little bit excessive. At least they have the most flexible DPS roster in the game, but I don't know if it's. But yeah, continue.
I think Dallas OG is top 3 main tank in the league.
All right.
RCK, I've heard great things about. I know it's scrim results and we just shit on that, but RCK apparently, and I guess we've seen VODs and stuff, but like he's gonna be really good from what I've heard. You've got Effect back in NA.
All right,
that's huge. I was worried, and then you have some of I think the best coaching staff that you can get, and you have like the weak links and Mickey, but who knows if he even sees playing time.
He wouldn't. They have enough players so that he may not.
I don't know. You have Timo. You have AKM. Like AKM, I guess, is in there. If Soldier comes back in, that'll be huge. Decent, serviceable Pharah, I would say. And then their support line, I think, is Harry Hook and Closer.
And Unko.
And Unko too. Yeah, that's right. So that support line I think is really strong. Closer's super good. I think it's gonna be a close game for sure, but I think that the field takes it because they always have really good game planning. I know last year looked like shit, but as they cleaned it up towards the end of the season, you could see that it's gonna. And with Arrow and Jane, I mean it's gonna be good. I think they're gonna win that.
So.
Game
I agree that the Fuel are good. Like, I'm not saying the Fuel are bad. Like, I think they're a very good team. I think they're high tier. But, like...
Where do you put them? Where do you put them on, I guess, on your list?
7. Yeah.
Okay. I can respect that. I won't get too mad.
I had to chalk 4th, right? And I think the one tiny question about the Chalk, I think everything else is super solid. The one tiny question is main tank. Everything else is up there in the upper echelon of the league. They got, I mean, I know Violet's not going to be there because he's suspended, but Sleepy and Moth are brilliant on their own anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. And then when Violet does come in, I've heard Jonak comparisons with him too. Like, that's going to be scary.
Every Zen that's come into the league, though, I feel like has been getting those comparisons. But Jonex, honestly, he's on another level. I can't wait till we have the viewer.
I'm just gonna spec
really
him.
See how that guy plays.
Him and Ark working together. I mean, it's big sidetracked a little bit. Him and Ark working together.
Their communication's exceptional.
It's genuinely unbelievable, the synergy that they have. But like, anyway, but now and then like off tank, you got Choi Hyobin and Nevix. Some people say Choi is one of the best in the league. I wouldn't go quite that far, but he is really solid.
I think he's solid, but I think they were gonna. I thought they were gonna play somebody else over him that had a little bit better diva in certain
Nevix,
situations.
Maybe? That's the only
Yeah, I mean, I think it was Nevix, because Choi has said that he wants to be as good as Nevix.
They're both really good. They're both really good. So like, make of that what you will. I think either way they're in good shape. Then you have the DPS roster, which could literally run anything because there's 5 of them for some reason. Yeah, that's true.
Flexible. And they're gonna have a rotation that is probably pretty good, but I don't know why they have a couple guys like Striker and Sinatra. I feel like
they do
hero pulls a lot besides
quite a
Widow.
bit. I don't unless Sinatra is like really turns up the heat. He's probably not gonna see that much playing time. I mean, his Zarya is really good.
Right. But not in GOATs. I feel like what we saw in the World Cup, at least, it wasn't that good.
I mean, to be fair, that was
but it's been months of practice, so... Purdy's been playing, is the word on the street, with scrims, but, like, we already shit on those, but the word on the street is they're playing that mixed roster.
They have to, because, Moth is the only main support, so unless they get a new one, that's gonna be... But like,
right?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think this game is won or lost depending on how. I don't know I don't know who's playing Super Smurf. Could be either of them. But like, this game is won or lost depending on the performance of the shot. That's my take on it. Because Super
depends on their DPS duo though too, because I think they don't run the correct combination. It's gonna be really weird because I think they have so many of the like different combinations they have to try. Who knows what the best one is on every map? I don't think
I
you have the
agree,
time
but they
to
have a couple of players that are flexible enough that like you could just plop two of them in and then it'll work for almost every situation. Like Architect, and I guess
perfect,
either Striker or Rascal covers most of your bases just right there. So I don't think that's as big as an issue as the main tank. And I guess if you wanted to say that the game was won or lost on the Dallas side, I would probably go with the GOATs, but like DPS players, maybe they do have a really good tank line, but Dallas is going to be more consistent. Is going to be more consistent.
Yeah, it's going to be, especially the first game here this first week. It's definitely going to be on.
And that's why it's so. That is on
that's
everybody. And I think that the shock, because Smurf, you hear some mixed things on him, and he really didn't look good in the California Cup if you watch that. And then Super was inconsistent, but they might have figured that out in scrims at this point. And with the coaching that they have, there's a decent chance that they have. So, like, if they have, shock take, I think.
Yeah. I don't know how much I really put. I guess I should say this. I don't put much into the California Cup. I don't think. I think they're better than what they were on that. In that, they were out of practice.
To be fair, the Valiant were as well. And Smurf, it was his first game with the team. Probably wasn't used to the workings of it yet. But I think the shock take it, because I think their maintaining problems.
I just think the discipline.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm sorry, I cut you off, but I think that discipline is so important in this meta, this GOATS meta, and I think Dallas, just based on their coaching, I think they're really good at teaching discipline, and it's all about cooldown management. So I think that Dallas, we disagree on this one. We'll agree to disagree, but I think Dallas takes it. We'll see, and I'll put money on. And so then let's go on to the next game, because we're only through day 2 right now. But this is the last game of day 2, 15th. We have the Chengdu Hunters and the Charge. I'm not saying that one either. I have no idea how to say it, but this is a Charge game all the way.
I agree. Like, yeah, this is not a
lot of unknowns for me. I think Kib is really entertaining to watch. Hopefully they have good synergy. It looks like they have a top tier org, really. The Charge, their organization seems really good. They boot camped a couple of times already. I think they're doing 3 before the season. That's going to be huge, but I think language barrier too sometimes. You have, I think, Nero and Kib are the only like Western players,
also,
and the rest
but it's
are
also
Korean,
Koreans.
So it's going to be really weird.
Chinese players as well. So like that's another layer of language barrier in there, you know. Yeah,
it's a very mixed roster for sure. But I don't know what language they're all having them speak or how they're communicating. That seems like a very confusing. That's where I think they drop down in my power rankings a little bit. I think I put them at like 14. Or not. No, not that high. No. Okay, I put them at like 16 or 17. I think
I had them at 13. That's more just
okay. I mean, their org just seems really promising. They seem like they're doing really well in practice. But I mean, unless we're on the inside, we can't really know. But the Hunters may not have a coach.
My lord, the Hunters.
we'll see. What do they Discord him in and talk with the team over voice comms and coach that way?
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, so first of all, Hunters is the visa issue thing that's recently cropped up, which is huge.
Right.
And this it's sort of like one of those teams where like it could either be really good or just hysterically bad, except like instead of really good, the cap is just like average. It's got a low ceiling and like a low floor, I should say, and then like an averagely high skill ceiling. And go ahead.
I was just gonna say I don't think I put the Hunters at the bottom because coaching, we saw how hugely important it was. in the past, and I think without a coach physically there, especially with a brand new team, they're gonna struggle. At least stage 1, they're gonna be all the way at the bottom. I don't think they win. Not stage 1. Maybe stage 2 if they get a coach in time. But
this is gonna be a super interesting team to watch, and the main reason for that is for Bacon Jack and Young Geelong, if the visa issue is figured out. And the reason for that is because they haven't played the game in a year. And now they're in the Overwatch League.
Yeah, and that's true. That's true. Now, I think they should have made the contenders circuit first, or like an academy team just to get. But who knows? Maybe they're back to form.
They both played PUBG.
Crazy,
right?
but
PUBG is just such a wildly different game. Like,
yeah, it's not.
No, it's not even close.
It's not the same at all. It's the game sense required to play at an Overwatch League level. They're probably geniuses if they can play well. Again, after a year break, but they've been playing probably nonstop.
It's still just like it's going to be a huge jump, and they do have some good players like Late Young and Yvette Hall in particular are quite good. But like, they were on the World Cup team, so like obviously they're pretty good. But
right,
yeah, this team is going to suck at first. I think I had them at 19.
Yeah, at least. I think without a coach is just. I think a lot of people are downplaying that factor, from what I've heard. But I think that's like super big. I don't think they win a game stage 1, but we'll see.
They might get 1, but they're not going to win. They're not going to have a winning record or anything close to that. Let's put it that way.
No, yeah, they'll be losing for sure. And then because I don't know the rest of their schedule, they might have another team that they can win against, but otherwise
Dynasty probably not. Oh, they play the Mayhem. That maybe.
Yeah, it's a winnable game for sure. We'll see how they play first week, and then we'll have a lot more accurate predictions after the.
These are honestly
first
some
week,
of these are just shots in the dark, like
right. And I mean, we're somewhat informed. I mean, I've followed every single post since off season. I know people. And everybody watches players, but it's hard because who knows with metas how they change. Some team might have a bad day,
and who knows? Day, so maybe something new is discovered in this meta that just completely turns the tables. Like remember when?
Yeah, I hope
when
so.
Goats was initially,
please.
Like no one thought of even running anything really similar to Goats, and then Goats ran it, and then just rolled.
Yeah, tanks have always been strong. I feel like I think there was a
four I remember that
at some point back in the day, but
everyone loathed that.
Everybody hated it. So I don't know why they balanced.
You could run like at all was Soldier, and then like sort of Tracer on King of the Hill, and then that was it. Like, and then most of the time it was just 4 tanks.
Yeah,
that was such a strange meta.
Well, hated it. And hopefully this one goes away soon. Going. But let's go on to the next day. It's the 16th, Saturday, and this is the 2:00 game. They changed the times, I think, for regions just to accommodate some EU people better.
It's still pretty. It's still pretty late.
I think that's EU time.
I mean, this is on West Coast time, right? So
right. I think, or does it adjust for?
But it says it. Whatever, it doesn't matter. If it says
the first game of the day,
me, so I don't know.
It's an afternoon game.
I am on.
Okay, and I'm assuming you're East Coast then.
It does adjust.
Yeah, so
okay.
I'm Central, so it's 12:00. So London Spitfire versus Paris Eternal.
Yeah.
London Spitfire all the way. I think that Eternal struggle stage 1 early.
I think higher of the Eternal, and I think a lot of people do, but just because they have the experience, and I think experience is just huge, like bigger than a lot of people give it credit for. But like it's still playing.
They've got a lot of solid players too.
Third expansion team playing the Spitfire.
Yeah, they're playing the best roster, and they didn't make any changes, did they?
I mean, nothing major. They didn't like completely turn the roster upside down.
They got pieces, they
really didn't.
Pieces to help them.
They got
certain situations.
Guard and Krillin, but
that's right.
The core is still there, and that's the
we'll see if that. Right, Yeah, Gestures, God Tank, Bird Ring, so good. But I think, yeah, Spitfire takes it, but I like LH Cloudy a lot. I think he might be a little overrated. We'll see how he performs. I haven't watched a lot of him, so could be wrong. I know a lot of people say he's the best tank in EU contenders, and then, so could be very wrong.
I think, but we'll see. I actually think very highly of some of the DPS players on the Eternal as well. So yeah, in particular,
right, Soon and Shadowburn,
and then it's the only reason Shadowburn didn't see more playing time because like the fusion got that much better, but he's still really good.
The more I think about it, I'm gonna say the Eternal win this game.
I think bold.
It's pretty bold, but Cruz is so good. Cruz is so good. You have LH Cloudy, you have Shadowburn soon. I mean, I don't know who they'll play. Nico. But Cruz, I always forget about him.
Insane.
He's so good.
I will agree with you there.
His shot calling he's one of the best main supports in the league, in my opinion. And I think this game might surprise a lot of people. All right,
wow.
So I'm making the prediction now. Just so when I'm right, I seem like a genius, but I bet the Eternal win that game. And then we go into another shitty game right after, unfortunately.
Oh boy.
We have the Justice versus New York. And if we're going on scrim, if we're doing the scrim result, it's like circle jerk thing, the Justice should win this game. But I know that New York will stomp the shit out of them.
The Justice have clean, that
20-minute game.
8-player roster thing again. And like...
Right. Mm-hmm. I like how it's not 6 anymore. I bet they would have went 6 if you still could. But
Corey, I do like Corey.
I like Corey a lot, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched a lot of him because when I was a manager for that Tier 3 team, he played on, I think Prestige Worldwide is what it was called at the time with, like, Brandito was the main tank, I believe. And he was real good. He was, like, on another level where you could see it, even at, like, Tier 2/3 scrims. Yeah. He was just so much better than a lot of the people. I think he's going to be a standout player for sure.
In particular. And the thing about the Justice is that you look at a lot of the other like teams that are like lower tier or concede to that. You're like, oh, they could be decent if they get things together. And then you look at the Justice and you're like,
right.
Like
yeah, it's hard to see it, but I bet you I could see them being like the
I will say that
last year maybe, but Janice I think is good, but I don't think he's the best like he thinks he is. And then I guess Wizard thinks he's a genius or something, and we'll see if he's the reason why New York is winning
actually be because again, as you said, coaching is really fucking important. So like, if he is, then
right,
this team could
it proves a lot for Wizard.
Surprise some people, and.
Yeah, and I don't know if he really cared about his roster as much as we think. I think that he just wanted like the paycheck, and then he would work with whatever pieces the GM picked up. I don't know how involved he was, but we'll kind of see how that works out. I definitely don't think they win. Not against New York because pure talent.
Yeah,
it's they can just talent that game.
I think that if this team does get like better overall, and I think every team is going to improve, at least like on the eye test. Maybe not record-wise, but from the eye test. I think this team is going to improve, but they're going to do it kind of like slowly. So they're going to ramp it up. Like maybe by stage 4, they're pretty good, but they're definitely not winning this game. Like I don't think they're going to win. And
Yeah. This is one that you say GG go next because
this is
New York's just too good. But I think watch us be overrating this team. I had New York as number 1 on my list just because they're so consistently good. Even though they choked they just choked the games away in the playoffs last year. But anyway, I mean that game's pretty much decided. New York all the way. And then the next game I think is going to be another blowout, and that's kind of bold. I think a lot of people will probably say this will be close, but it's the Spark versus the Valiant, and I think the Valiant takes this.
I agree with you. Honestly, I think the Valiant are just that much better than the Spark, and I'm not saying the Spark are bad, but I think the Valiant are really good.
especially because the Valiant are just a returning team, pretty much the same people. And I guess you lose soon. KSF, I mean, if you've watched that guy since he started,
he was really good.
He's so good. And I'm a slurper at KSF too. He's so fucking good. I can definitely see him being one of the best or the best Western DPS really in the league. You don't think? I think he's criminally underrated, especially by, I guess, the writers over there at Game House. But anyway,
no, Valiant take this.
Valiant. I think they're going to be take that game pretty easy. But
they're well-rounded. Like, you look at this team, you're like, where is there a problem? And then
Fury's so good.
Yeah, there really is one.
They shouldn't, in theory, be losing. They shouldn't have lost. Like, last year, I feel like they had the best chance at winning. Like, did they even win a stage playoffs? I think they got second in one of them.
Yeah.
I think they might struggle stage one a little bit. But then as the meta kind of shakes out, they might get a little bit better.
Yeah,
but they'll win this game for sure.
A whole lot to say there. And it's just Sparker, all right, I guess. They're in the upper half of the expansion team, but it's still the Valiant are just that much better.
Right. Yeah. And then the next one is Vancouver versus Shanghai. And we talked a little bit about Vancouver earlier, but I think they look so strong on GOATs, and especially this being game one.
I don't know if I would go so far as to say easy, but I do agree that Vancouver it's just because even though they're a completely new team, they actually have more synergy than Shanghai because they've just Yeah,
I mean, they're older. So that's why I think I give them a huge edge, and they just looked amazing in that. I don't know if you watched that Contenders Grand Final game.
They did look really
God,
good.
So good. And that was a close game against one of the best teams. But we'll see. I mean, I think Shanghai, I don't know, it's their second game, so maybe the nerves melt away. They might play a little bit better. Hopefully they get that first win, so then they can not have any pressure on them. And that's where I think they have the best chance of winning. Otherwise, Vancouver, I think, takes it.
I mean, it's Runaway. Like, what else do you say about Runaway? It's like, it's Runaway.
Exactly. I almost call them the Vancouver Runaway every time.
It's going to be, so. I will say this, it's going to be so strange. I'm going to
struggle with that.
Like, on stage, they're going to walk out in their colors. It's going to be like,
green
what
and
the
blue.
fuck is that?
yeah. It's nasty. I'm not a big fan of those colors, really. Compared to their old ones, pretty, I mean, pink and blue.
Too, although that just might be the San Jose Shark fan and me speaking. So, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, either way.
I get it. And then that was actually the last game of for Saturday, so let's move on to Sunday, the last day of the first week.
I know, it's going to be so exciting. A lot of games
per week. I can't wait to watch them all. That's a lot of time. But on Sunday, it starts at 2, 3 for you, and then I guess 12 o'clock Western. But it's Houston Outlaws versus Boston Uprising, and I think this game is close. A low-tier close game, or a mid-tier close game.
I think Houston takes it. I don't think it's Houston as close as your... I don't think it's going to be super close. I think Houston wins it. Like, it's not going to be a blowout, but I think Houston takes it pretty handily just because they're kind of like the Valiant in the fact that they're pretty well-rounded, except for the fact that, like, the Valiant are well-rounded and have good players all the way around. And then the Outlaws have, like, decent to okay players all the way around. And they have a couple of really, like, superstars. But, like, they're more, like, well-rounded, but on the more average side. But then you have Boston, which has some like, they've...
Yeah, that's right.
All right, well...
I think it'll be close, though, somehow.
All right.
That's a feeling one, but I think it'll be close somehow. And then, I guess, the next game, that one doesn't really have much to talk about. We already talked about both those teams. And I guess both these next teams, too. I have Philadelphia Fusion and Atlanta Reign. And I think Fusion...
You think the Fusion loses? Is that what you just said?
Game.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they lose. I'm an Atlanta.
Fair enough.
I'm an Atlanta fan, kind of. So, but I also think Fusion is just weak early stage 1. And I know they already had a game, but I don't think the meta shakes out by Sunday. I think that they lose the game. I know they have, and if they win, it's going to be just some crazy play from Carpe or something, like some just he plays some really good games, and then you can't really stop him when he's on. But I think I'm just going to go bold here and say Atlanta wins. I think they're going to be a gold mine for bets. I think they're going to win a lot of unexpected games just because that's how DeFran, I think, is. And that team's attitude is really good, too. And I think they're going to improve just week by week. But
all right, that's fine.
Fusion's going to struggle early.
Obviously, we disagree heartily on the Atlanta Reign placing. And
right.
I think Fusion's one of the best teams in the league, and I think Atlanta is kind of like lower mid tier. So if I'm sorry, man, but like that's
you're
just
breaking my heart.
So like if Atlanta is clicking at all cylinders, like they could conceivably make it pretty close or maybe pull off the upset. But I don't see them firing at all cylinders this early in the stage, and I think the Fusion take it just straight up on experience alone. That's my take.
Okay. I could see that, especially with the new roster. I mean, I can see your point for sure. And maybe that's just me being too much of a fanboy for certain players on the Atlanta Reign. But all
right.
I agree, I guess. So let's move on to the next game. San Francisco Shock versus LA Gladiators.
No fucking clue.
Who do you think wins this game?
This is so close. Again, I think
the Shock.
I think it comes down to the main tank play again. Honestly, because
I could see that, and the main tank play is allegedly better. I think after the first, so it's hard to do these second games that these teams both have because we're going to see how the tank play is a little bit, at least, in the Gladiators' first match, and then that will help me determine it. And same with San Francisco, we got to see how they are, too. But I think as of right now, as it stands, you're right, probably at the Gladiators, just based on contenders, I guess. The Gladiators tank line might be stronger.
I'm kind of, just for that, I think the Shock are overall better team, but I think that the Gladiators, in this specific matchup, their strengths work more in their favor. Although, if the Shock win, I would not be surprised at all. Like, honestly, this is like 51-49 Gladiators, in my opinion. It's just...
I feel like the Shock have to win this game or win their games the first week almost, just because they did this whole rebuild. They did a full self-destruct almost. Well, they kept players, but they did like a self-destruct and went Korean. Yeah. They just blew up, went Korean. I don't like that, but I know it's probably the best move. And I know they released players.
Mind it because it seems that they're devoted to like making sure that it's that everyone, for like old and new players, get play. Like Both is gonna play, just like
right. But I don't think we should be doing like participation medal generation. I think best players play.
I agree.
And the Koreans happen to be the best players, so why not replace your
Nevix
Western
and then
players?
possibly Baby Bay are gonna have a niche, but like that's and then if Super's better than Smurf, obviously he can play. But like he is very smart.
Super's really smart.
I think he's like better than he showed in season 1. I think he just didn't have time to adjust to the team. He got dumped in stage 3, right? Like that's hard, and I think better than he showed. So, but in the end, it's super close. And I say this as a Shock fan; it's really close. And I think the Gladiators have a very small edge. But if the Shock win, I would not at all be surprised.
Right. So then, I guess we'll just move on to the next game because that one's just tight. I don't really have I think the Shock will win that one is somehow.
You could base that one off
somehow.
Feeling, honestly,
but we'll see. Right. And I think the next one is the same way for me, at least, because I had in my power rankings Dallas and Seoul Dynasty on the same, like 4 and 5, just interchangeable. I didn't really put them like solidly in one spot or the other. There's strengths and weaknesses, I think, to both. And just with Fisher being the question mark, scares me. But
yeah,
this game, it's so hard to pick because I like both the teams. I think that Dallas probably wins just based on last year alone, not anything else. I think just last year, Dallas.
I actually
Dallas
have them
at the
right
end
next
was
to each other in
stronger
my
than
power
Seoul.
rankings too, just a little bit lower down. And I actually agree with you. I think Dallas is gonna take this barely. It's gonna be pretty close, but yeah.
Oh yeah, it'll be like last year, first game. It'd be really cool, and I like how the schedule this year. They really have a lot of storylines, kind of. So obviously, your first match is always pretty much the finals teams. So like in every traditional sport. So and then you have like New York Boston rivalry of the ages, and then you have Fisher versus old team. Like that's pretty cool. And then the two Chinese teams, two new Chinese teams, pretty much. With Shanghai and Spark. So it's really cool. But I guess we kind of got through all the games. It took us longer than I expected. We had a lot to say about them, but one player we didn't mention that I really want to bring into this and ask you about is Flower for the New York X, though.
I think he's good. But he's Flower, he's got that reputation, but I don't know how much playing time he's going to see. And the reason for that is just because there's the NYXL are stacked. Yeah.
And you have a proven libero is like a proven flex DPS player, but I think Flower's going to come into his own this year at some point and really be a force for that team. He'll carry a couple games that they're playing rough. I think that's a bold prediction, and I can't wait to ask Stux about it, see what he says next episode, because he coached him. I believe, I think, on XL2, he was the coach I know last year, so I think he had to have coached him. And I can't wait to ask him about that, because that's one of the questions one of the fans asked. So I just wanted to ask you it to see where your opinion is. I bet since he coached him, he probably says, like, oh, he's going to be super good or something. Like, he's going to be just because he
no one's saying that he's
we'll see what he says.
Or
he's
even
pretty
average.
honest guy.
Like, he's Flower. He's a good player. Like, he's really good. But you got Sabiobi, you got Libero, you got Pine. Like, that is, if that's not competition for a starting spot or even a the sub, I don't know what is. And
I know. Yeah, I see. So, I mean, I agree, because why are you going to take out Libero? He's so consistent.
Yeah, I would agree.
I feel like he's the most consistent flex DPS. But, I mean, we're also playing GOATs, so I always try to remember, because I pick a lot of these. I hope they change. I hope it changes. Like, the pros find some way, some best comp, but the best comp's just going to be the next worst one. It needs to still be viable just on certain apps. So we'll see kind of how it shakes out. I think they're nerfing armor again.
I don't think anyone knows what it is, but they did hint at it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he said something, but anyways, we got through the games, and I want to give you some time here to let the people know about like your social media and where they can find you and everything. So go ahead.
Okay, so I mean, the best place to find me is either on Discord or Twitter, probably. It's at GT Sputnik, and then my Discord is Sputnik GT, and then numeral # whatever that is 1210. So if you want to talk to me about,
all right, and then
that's
also. Do you have any like new projects coming up or anything, or?
Well, what we're doing at the Game House right now is doing a. I think it actually just started today. We're doing a rundown of all of the teams, and we're doing one a day. So.
Oh yeah, I've seen those. Yeah. I think you guys post them to Reddit and everything as well.
So so the Shocker. I mean, we're doing it in alphabetical order, so the Shocker ways off, but you will see me writing on that. And then I'll be posting little updates about the show. Like the other day, I posted something on whether support line is really good. The day before that, I posted something about whether tank line has potential to be good, but is probably not there yet. So, and then everyone else in the Game House Overwatch team and just all over the site is constantly posting new articles. So check them out; they're really good.
Yeah, check it out. There's a lot to read there. I've read a lot of it. I kind of followed all you guys at once because it's really good articles on that site. So you guys should go check them out. Any listeners out there, and then give Sam a follow on Twitter. And that's pretty much the episode. We're gonna wrap it up. That was a good discussion. I'm interested to see how these games shake out. I'll definitely go back and I want to track our picks that we had. I'll write them down.
Yeah.
And then we'll kind of see how we shake out. Maybe make a wager. Do something in the community or something. Play for a shout out or something. But I'll have you on again, hopefully at some point. It was real good talking to you, getting to know you.
Sounds good. This was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.